I don't know what the Buckeye State means, but it must mean something out here. I was privileged to meet the senior community rabbis today, all the way along to the newest Kollel member who moved here a month ago. And I will say you are blessed to have such great rabbis and Torah leaders in your midst. A few years ago, my son Yehuda was going through a very difficult time. And one day he says to me, he says, "Dad, let's go to Poland." Now, I've been all over the world, but Poland was not exactly on the top of my list. But my son asked, he said, "Let's go." I took him to Poland, and one stop we made was at the grave of one of our ancestors, the Ramah, Ramosha Isserlis, who is buried in Krakow. He lived in 1520, so he's the grandfather from way back. And from the Ramah's very modest, simple grave, where Jews come from around the world and have been coming for hundreds and hundreds of years, we went to visit Wawel Castle, which for the Polish, the non-Jewish, the Gentile Polish nation is the heart and soul of Poland. And in Wawel Castle, we had this glorious, magnificent tour. And we were taken down into the basement of the castle, where there was this beautiful display of weaponry from the beginning of time as measured in Poland. And the history started out with some very small weapons, and then more sophisticated weapons, and then even more sophisticated ones. And it kind of ended with the most modern Bofors Swedish cannons, and kind of a history of a nation, of the power, of the might of a nation. I remember a similar experience when I went to Williamsburg, Virginia with my kids, and we went to see the house of the governor in colonial Williamsburg. And there too, on the stairwell, as you walked through the governor's mansion, were sets of old pistols and weaponry from way back. And that's, apparently, if you've ever been to Europe, that's a pretty common theme there. And my son, who was 15 at the time, he says to me, "I think that the modest words, the Torah words of the Ramah of Ramosha Isserlis will far outlast all these weaponry, all these castles, and all the glories of a martial nation, and they're far more important and have more import for humanity." In the Song of the Torah, which we read in Parshat Hazinu, the Torah describes itself. This is really the song of the Jewish people. Oz Yashir is not the song of the Jewish people, it's the song of the rescue of the Jewish people. But Parshat Hazinu is the song of our nation and its history. And the Torah describes itself as follows: Yarof kamotor likchi, my words shall gently descend upon you. My treasures will descend upon you like gentle raindrops. Tizol katal, as a falling dew in the morning. Imrasi, my words will lay upon you. Kisi'irim, like fresh spring showers on young growth, ale desha. Ukurevivim, like droplets of rain upon the grass. Kishem Hashem ekra, when I call out in the name of Hashem. The Torah describes itself in this most modest and simple way, not as a raging, powerful storm, not as the force of a great empire or kingdom that ultimately gets its pants kicked in, perhaps even just by a few Taliban guys. You see how strong the empire truly is. But the Torah describes itself as the most gentle words, like a gentle, nurturing rain upon the earth. When I think of a kollel like the Columbus Kollel, 27 years now, the effects, it's not this huge institution. It's not this overpowering effect. It's simple. It's the nurturing, the nourishing, the watering of young and old alike with the words of Torah. And with that, you are truly blessed in Columbus to have a kollel in your midst. You're blessed that you embrace it. You're blessed that you support it, and that you define your lives not as Jews alone, but as Jews who live by the word of Hashem for young and old alike. My bracha to you is that the words of Torah should always nourish you, young and old, rich and poor, in difficult times, in best of times. There should always be this comforting presence that enhance our lives and help us grow ever closer to Hashem and to each other. Mazel tov on this beautiful event, and hopefully we'll see a lot of financial success too tonight for the Kollel. Thank you.